Next time you have an opportunity to make a difference for animals, will you be brave enough? Yes or no?
The World Wildlife War is acknowledged by few and fought by fewer. And whilst funding pours into humanitarian causes, our game rangers struggle to defend wildlife. We function on the scraps of an aid industry because intrinsically, animals are just not considered as important as human beings. Now, I call it a wildlife war because across the world we see criminal syndicates using military precision poach with swift, calculated ferocity. Well-trained units using automatic weapons and night vision equipment, they strike animals while they're trying to carry out the most primary desire of any creature, to live. And as our rangers are tracking fading footprints from the scene of a crime, the lives they defend with their own are already being traded on the other side of the world. Elephants, rhinoceros and even great apes all share the very same unfortunate prestige. They're high target species whose very struggle for survival represents that of Mother Nature herself. On only a handful of occasions in the past 500 million years, half of all species we have on Earth have gone extinct. And this is what we term a mass extinction. Now, a recent study, The Ethics of Species, which was published by Cambridge University Press, projects that by 2100, half of all species we have on Earth today will be gone forever. Now, for the first time in history, this mass extinction is a man-made phenomenon. The United Nations Population Division projects that the number of human inhabitants on the African continent will double to 2 billion by 2040. Now, I've got little confidence that we can mobilise the hearts and minds of a continent with a common mindset of immediacy that the long-term preservation of wildlife is more important than food on the table tonight. You couple that up with a common lack of sufficient political will to protect animals, and we've got a recipe for extreme challenge. The Philanthropy Challenge is designed so people like you back home in Australia can get behind people like us who are out on the front lines trying to win this world wildlife war. We need the help of the world to defend the defenceless. And where those people of the world cannot help us protect animals, and I mean any animals now, and I lay down the challenge now to not be responsible for their suffering. The Philanthropy Challenge requires you to go home and out into your communities and do small jobs for small amounts of money, and then collect that money up and choose a charity of your choice to put those funds towards. What it teaches you is about doing something for others without expecting anything back in return. This is the sort of mindset that we need to instill in this and future generations. Take Australia for example. If you collect up all the charities that raise money for wildlife and animals, both domestic and wild, they receive only 5% of donations made each year. The other 95% go to humanitarian causes. You can see that guys like myself, other conservationists and environmentalists who are trying to look after this beautiful planet that we've been given are facing an uphill struggle. These can be simple jobs like unstacking the dishwasher, walking the dog, washing the car, or bringing the shopping in for your mum. And what you do is ask them to contribute a small amount of money each time you do one of these jobs, and you build that money up and then bring it into your teacher. Now, once you've brought it into your teacher, as a class you'll sit down and decide exactly where you want those funds to go. And please remember though, animals, particularly wildlife, needs your help, and they can't survive without it. These forests and the bush around the world can't survive without the animals inside it. Think of it as like a car trying to run without an engine. And so when we take the animals out of these forests, the forests start to break down. And when there's no forest, we've got an even more contributing factor to global warming. Believe it or not, but Australia actually has the worst record for extinction of its own native mammal species than any other country in the world. In the last 200 years, 27 mammal species have gone extinct on Australia. You compare this with 26 different species that have gone extinct across all of Africa's 56 countries in the same period. This is largely attributed to the introduction of foreign predators like the fox and the cat, and also habitat loss. Most of Australia's population lives around the coast, and this, unfortunately, is where the animals like to call home as well. Let's not let these devastating figures be replicated around the world. Get behind the rangers and get behind the IAPF and help us protect wildlife for future generations. Thank you very much, guys. Again, I just want to reiterate, we cannot win this war without your help.